Hi, welcome to Suplex the Sticks, a gaming podcast hosted by David and Seth.
Hi.
And Forrest.
Howdy.
And are you on the Discord call or something?
No.
It looked like it.
No, I was pulling up Discord because I got a notification in it.
Likely story.
I
He's leaking the show while we're doing it
Yeah.
to other channels. It's where all of our listeners
despicable.
go. So we have a new segment today that neither of you know about. We got a listener email. We're going to read it later.
I've been waiting for years for this.
I did say in a previous episode that anyone who emails, we will read it on the show.
You did. And the other thing that we need to address is that we got a new haiku.
Was it a haiku? I didn't
I
bother
think
to
it
count.
was.
I just knew that it was a poem of some sort, and it was beautiful.
I didn't like it.
Yeah,
Well,
because
of
it's
course you
directed at you.
And so now our podcast has engaged poetry, I guess, or inspired poetry in our community.
You love to be an inspiration to the people.
Truly.
Seth's fingers engage, skull and bones, his realm of waves, virtual seas embrace. And that's a tease as
about
to
me.
what Seth has put, like, I'm guessing around 80 hours into this past.
There's really no way of
Oh,
knowing.
there is.
There is
and
a
you
way.
could look if you wanted to. And I don't know if
But
you
in my
want to.
mind, there's no way
Right.
of quantifying it. Because all just
Because
blurs
it's
together.
priceless, really.
It all just sort of blurs together.
And
To me, it's just been one long, seamless
C.
Yeah.
sure. Man, it is wild. And so we've got a listener email, we've got listener poetry.
Is a listener email about any of us? Because then we might have to do it now.
No, it is about games.
Nice.
We could do it now. We could open up.
Let's
with,
do it now.
We could start this
Okay.
podcast with talking about games for once.
So this is from a listener that we've heard of from before, who has written a poem before.
Well, they
Ah,
will
friend of
remain
the show.
they will remain. I was about to say unnameless, which is correct, but they will remain nameless.
They actually didn't sign it,
Okay,
so
well then
I
they have
will-
no. They're unnameless. No, they're nameless.
Hello, Suplex the Sticks, a gaming podcast. Late last year, I picked up the Spider-Man remastered video game on Steam and played it for around 17 hours. I was having a blast to the point where I also purchased the Miles Morales follow-up and was doing all of the side stuff with the goal of 100%ing the game.
I think I did that.
Yeah,
However,
not a hard thing to do, I
At
think.
a certain point, I could not stand to subject myself to the stealth missions that they shoehorn into the game. They were clunky and a very strange interruption in narration and flow and game flow. You cannot convince me that 100% of those stealth missions would have been much better served as cutscenes. I hate stealth
Fair.
missions in video games that are not designed to be stealth games with a passion. And the fifth time I had to play Miles Morales Waits Behind a Box Simulator, I uninstalled the game. I could not take it anymore. My question is, have there been any game mechanics like this that have made you guys put down a game forever? P.S. For the record, I hated playing Rotate the Circuit puzzle in Doc Ock's Office 2. I feel like that video game was trying to bring us back down to earth from the high of swinging around New York City with some of the most boring extracurriculars of all time.
Yeah, I guess I kind of they remove a lot of that in 2 that I kind of had forgotten about all of the random
Yes.
weird like interstitial stuff that you had to do. These like little not even mini games, just sort of these
They remove almost all of it in 2.
yeah.
There is a little bit, but it's not... the most egregious is the weird biking around the park thing you have to do.
Yes, that was weird.
I need to get around to playing this game.
Yeah, you probably should. Instead, you played like Mega Man Beta /2 or something. I don't know.
I was playing Alan Wake.
I gotta look that up.
Usually when we're playing something relevant in the conversation,
I play like a D
Forrest is
tier
playing
video game.
Replaying Mega Man Zero.
Right.
Yeah,
Or
honestly.
he's playing a game that wasn't released but finished by some dude in Slovakia or something. I don't know. But
yeah, game mechanics that put you off of a game.
yeah, I mean,
God.
I forced myself to. Really, most of my issues are survival mechanics that will make me put down a game forever.
That or needlessly large open worlds. Like, you do one of those two things, and I'm like, all right, I can not play this game.
But that's not a mechanic. I think that's just a setting.
It's a design
Like
flaw.
like a mechanic would be something you have to do to play through the game.
Yes, walking for hours with minimal, actually entertaining things to do between objectives.
Again, I think it's not really a mechanic. It's just a feature of a bad
it's
game.
not a-
But I do think that it makes me think of in the time when I was religiously playing the Assassin's Creed games whenever they would come out. There would always be articles about it, how they continue bringing back the mechanic while you have to slowly follow someone or walk with someone
The trailing.
who your character is incapable of walking the same speed.
Yeah.
You either have a walking animation that is slower than their walking animation, or you start running, and they're
which
just,
is, of course, faster than them.
and it's just like, oh my god,
a constant stop
I
and
hate
go.
it. I hate it. Why do we need to do this?
Yeah.
Those are tough.
I would argue survival stuff has killed like 2 or 3 of my games. Maybe my issue is the destinification of games, like the having rare loot in a game that, like, my biggest issue with Avatar. I was loving that video game. I was having a great time with it. And then I couldn't progress because of the harvesting mechanic that wasn't consistent enough, or you had to harvest fruit to get resources, and the resources
I was
had
really hoping he was going to say that.
and the
Harvest
resources
fruit to get the loot.
and the resources had a rarity to themselves,
Yeah.
which then stopped you from being able to craft
Yes,
the
These
rarity
are,
of certain
they're just
things.
that are added to pad the time.
It's a
Yeah.
And it exists.
what's the doll?
The
Like,
entire
it's
the Russian.
like a
nesting
The
Russian
Matryoshka
nesting
doll.
doll of like there's so many things
Yes.
inside things, and it makes it impossible to actually play the game.
Yeah. So you just hit it on the head for me, actually. Crafting mechanics. Yeah, like that. I find so many crafting, like the implementation of crafting mechanics in a lot of games to be so pointless. Especially, like
I can agree with that.
if I have to... I can't even think of a specific game where this happened.
I think Tears of the
recently.
Kingdom fixed crafting, though. In
Yeah,
my opinion.
yeah.
I think that it perfected.
Six things together.
Slap that crap together.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Instant results.
survival mechanics and then crafting mechanics. Crap. That's why I pretty much don't play Minecraft whenever any of my friends
there in
try.
the name.
I know.
Mine.
It's very unfortunate. I like neither mining nor crafting, it seems.
It's the. I mean, I say I don't like it, but I enjoy the silliness of Lego Fortnite. But I think that's because it's
It's Lego.
Lego and it's Fortnite, and it's very silly that happens.
Yeah.
And so, and I don't engage in that part of it. Cameron and them usually do, and then I just put together the resources they harvested, and then I'm like, it's a different dynamic. But yeah, harvesting and honestly, stealth is my least favorite thing in a video game.
I love a good stealth.
I
That's-
love
and
stealth.
that's
I love
my-
even bad stealth sections.
No,
bad
then you'd
sections.
love The Last of Us. Like it's
Oh, don't you know about the bit that The Last of Us 2 is my favorite game of all time?
I thought it was David's.
No,
No, that's one.
Yeah.
no.
I can't wait for you to play Last of Us 2, David.
I won't do it.
You agreed to do it.
No, I did.
This is true.
I walked that back, and it's okay. I can't force Seth to watch a movie. I will not be forced into watching or playing Last of Us Part 2.
That's fair. Which is the length of
Which is a
20
which is
Advent
watching
Children's.
20 of Advent Children.
God, it'd be a much better experience.
No, it wouldn't.
I don't think so.
No,
I think
sir.
I think I would go insane watching any movie 20 times in a row.
I don't know. I've watched a lot of movies a lot of times.
Yeah.
I think I've put Atlantis on to go to sleep like 3 times within the past week.
Heck
And
yeah.
I watch it about halfway through every time.
Very
the
nice.
movie's great.
Oh, so good.
It's a good movie.
I get into habits with that though. Movies I can rewatch over and over again. My brain just adapts to that. Speaking
The opposite of this question, for me, thing I will love in any game, you smack a card game in a game that otherwise doesn't need one, I'll be all over it.
yeah, I mean a good card game, a good I love a good. I mean, it's what I loved about Horizon. What is it called?
Forbidden West.
Yes, Forbidden West. There was a weird combat chess type. Give me a good like figure chess type card, like capsule card monsters.
You
from
are just
Yu-Gi-Oh.
saying things
Dungeon
right now,
dice
dude.
monsters.
Dungeon dice
Holy
monsters.
crap.
Yeah.
Put dungeon dice monsters on every game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was sort of what that was. Like you would put something down and it would have a certain attack pattern based on its class or whatever. And give me something like that, and I'll play that. Most of my playtime in that was dedicated to that.
Just one of the many reasons I can't wait for Rebirth to come out. Play that.
It's supposedly got
Queen's-
multiple in there that are good.
Queen's
so
whatever, Queen's Revenge or whatever.
Queen's Gambit.
we are really
Queen's
good.
Blood,
We
I
are
think,
really good at remembering.
is
things.
what the card
Yeah.
game and like. Well,
We have approximate remembrance of many things.
yes.
You
But to be fair, the game we haven't played it. The game
you
hasn't
should
come out
play
yet.
that Balatro game that's out right
Okay.
now. You might like it. It's a roguelike poker game. And it's you deck build for poker hands, and it's bizarre looking.
Interesting.
The Giant Bomb people love it. You might love it too.
Personally, I would go with the same card all the time.
Yeah.
That's kind of what Dan does. It sounds
I
like.
mean, it's like it's poker.
Yeah.
Just have a 4 of a kind every time. You
Yeah.
can't beat it.
Yeah.
5 of a kind.
So thank you, Cameron. I'm going to be on his podcast next month.
He was supposed to remain unnamed.
I know it's okay. I'm going to be.
But
on,
we're announcing.
I'm going to be on the big room next month,
collaboration.
and we're going to be talking about the Batman.
Fitting.
Oh my God!
It's going to be great.
What a good movie.
I know.
What a good
I'm very
podcast
excited.
to listen to when any of their episodes drop,
I don't know,
but especially the Batman.
there's definitely movies that I like that I've had them watch that
Yeah,
they did not
dude.
like.
Yeah,
And
that's
It's
fair.
tough.
I'm terrified to see what Nick's opinions of the Batman are going to be.
I
You should have them watch the movie Incantation.
I'll be there in person to throttle him live on the internet if
Thank
he
you.
doesn't like it. So
Thank
you
you.
guys should probably tune in for that one because you'll be able to see it. But yeah, now let's talk about our video game experiences. I've just been playing Helldivers 2. I've put 30 hours into that video game despite it not wanting me to put any hours into it.
How many hours did I put into it? Did we determine?
You did like 25. You still are a level or two. You're a level ahead of me, which
Oh.
honestly, it proves one of the things I told you before, that I don't feel like doing the higher difficulties like really pushes you so much further as long as you're playing consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm only a level lower than you, and I've been playing pretty much like level 3 and 4 the whole time, not the levels 5
Plus,
and
those
6.
those can occasionally ramp up to a nice bit of challenge without
those-
being just so brutal.
But those will get, the level 5 and 6s will get you the rarer resources, which I haven't gotten to.
Yes.
Oh.
The samples.
The samples, the rare samples, yeah. I unlocked the laser rifle that's really bad.
Yeah, it stinks.
it's very bad. I was kind of mad because it costed so much medals.
So many medals.
And you would think that
It's a laser rifle. It should be good, but it's bad. It's more like a laser pointer.
Yeah, for real.
Just pointing at the enemies and nothing happens.
I haven't tried them against the bugs.
I think the reason the laser is also disappointing is because every other gun has such a satisfying punch to it when you are shooting bullets out.
Yeah, and that one has nothing.
And that one is nothing. It's just a line of light.
That's why I don't like the arc thrower or whatever it is in the game.
Stinks.
Yeah, the arc thrower sucks.
Yeah.
But so Helldivers 2 is a third-person shooter. You load into a planet and you drop into a planet and
ODST style.
and you're fighting bugs or automatons, which are Terminator-like beings.
Yes.
I imagine eventually we will get to a point where both of them are on the same planet, possibly.
Ooh, that would be great. I think there's going to be a third faction at some point.
I do think suspiciously the bottom rounded part
and
is
the top.
not, and the top, so there may be more. They did say that because of the success of the game, they are hiring more people and moving up some of their plans because they realize that they have a bigger crowd to serve here.
Yeah.
There's been some
This
rumblings.
game really popped off.
Yeah.
To give some context.
There's been a lot of rumblings that I've seen that Bungie helped out with this game near the end.
Oh.
Interesting.
Which makes sense.
They are owned by Sony now.
They are owned by Sony now, not PlayStation, which is a weird distinction that I feel needs to be made, which is why they have a weird sort of wiggle room. But yeah, it's a really good game. It's hard to talk too much about it because it's just I hate to say
up with
run
buds
of the mill
and blowing up
bugs.
I think one of the great successes of this game is that
it has friendly fire.
Yes, and that it makes it almost enjoyable to fail.
Yeah,
because of how just over the top failing usually is.
Yeah. Like there's no quiet defeat.
Yes.
You know, like you're going to go down kicking and screaming
yeah.
and being overran and
blown up,
demolished.
I think one of my favorite things, neither of you, I don't think Seth played with Brandon at all, but like Brandon will accidentally call something in close and he usually is very good about it, but the time that he does and it kills me, I always just am like, Brandon? And he's like, and I'm like, he's like, sorry. And I was like, it's the same reaction every time, and you know you did it.
That is the same problem I had with you with all your freaking mines. Just dropping them everywhere.
Dude, the mines are a you problem because you can avoid them. You can see them.
I did most of the time, but and also to be fair, it was our other teammates that were getting hit by them more than I was.
You can see the mines on the ground. You can choose to walk into them. Yes, sometimes.
Sometimes they're completely obfuscated by like foliage and rocks and stuff. Good luck.
Yes. It's a very pretty game, and it looks cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unique environments that I've seen so far, and I hate the robots. But they are working.
They're tough.
They know the pain points of the game right now. So but yeah, it's a great game. I've put a ton of time into it. It's really good.
Yeah,
agreed. It is quite fun.
And I consistently have people that want to play it and are playing it. So
it's some of the most fun I've had in a video game, especially like just like a game that you can play with friends in a hot minute.
I had a lot of fun playing the finals. I really liked playing that. I don't think that it was ever going to be fully lasting. But I did have a lot of fun playing that.
Yeah.
It makes me a little sad that I don't care to play that game, but maybe I did get my fill. But I did think it was unique and fun, what we did play of it.
Yeah. I always lean more towards on a preference towards co-op games, though, to competitive when I have the option for it. So at least between Finals and Helldivers is the pick.
Yes.
I don't know. My perfect medium is probably even looking back on it.
PvPvE.
Yeah, is
Yeah.
Exo
We're talking
Primal.
about
Exo Primal was nearly perfect.
no, I'm talking about the mode from Halo 5.
Well,
Warzone.
That crappy mode.
that mode was great.
Nah, dude.
Great mode.
Every other mode in that
All
game
of
was
you
good.
people out there that couldn't appreciate it for what it
The
was.
cards. Love the cards.
Those
As-
cards literally
You-
suck the life out
really,
of that whole game.
The people ended up making Halo worse by being mad about the ways it changed. I think because then it caused them to course correct back, and people still weren't happy. So who's going to be happy? Don't try to please people. Just make the game you want to make. Run your race. It's
true.
Yeah.
Put in cards.
Put in cards. The cards were cool. I got really neat weapons because of it.
Yeah.
I got exploding
that you could
sniper
only
rifles
use in
with-
one game
Yeah, you
mode.
could only use them once.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that those cards were given to you at every single instance throughout that entire game.
Yeah.
But you could only use them in one game mode.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't see
That's
the
the
problem
only
with
game
it.
mode I played in it.
Yeah.
I didn't play the story. I
You're
didn't
not
play,
missing
I didn't
anything
play
there.
the multiplayer.
I thought the story was fine. I liked it.
Isn't
And
the
I
one
beat
where
it
you had-
solo
where
legendary.
you had to defeat the
What?
Warden Eternal
Yeah.
over and over.
Dude, I'm trying to work through that game 4-player legendary, and it is a slog.
I beat Halo 3, 4, 5, and Reach on solo legendary.
Okay, well, most of those are good experiences.
Yeah, I had fun playing 4 and 5 solo legendary.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the Warden was tough. It was fun, but he was tough. Then you had to fight 3 of them. That was wild. That took me 2 days. People talk about Dark Souls being hard. And it is, but not like that.
Yeah, well, Dark Souls usually doesn't just take one boss who's really hard and be like, let's
Let's put
3
this in
more of them.
5 more times throughout the whole game.
We'll see in that DLC. Who knows? I don't know. But, I mean, I will sit here and, everyone poo-poos Halo 5, and I think that it has some of the coolest moments in a Halo campaign ever in it. I really
Yeah,
did.
it had that Hunt the Truth podcast with
Which was good.
I didn't listen
The
to.
podcast was good.
the podcast and Nightfall were the best parts
And
of
then,
Halo 5.
and then you got the baller cutscenes of Master Chief and the other Spartan fighting, and
Yeah, the guy no one cared about.
John Locke. Yeah, I know his name.
Like,
I
why
love-
are we not? Why are we being someone else?
If you cared about him, if you had listened to the podcast, you would care about him. Which is maybe a failing, but I understand.
that's definitely a failing.
But,
I don't know. Maybe put
I re-listened to that podcast 6 months ago. It rips.
stuff in the
It's so
game
good.
that makes you invested in the characters.
Yeah, it's hard. They're chasing the high of Halo 2 Arbiter. We've been all over the place this episode.
It's true.
That's okay.
They're chasing the high of Halo 2. It's hard to. I even think Halo 2 is a mess, but it's fine.
Oh, it is a mess.
Yeah.
Halo
people-
4 is still goated though.
It's sort of like
Yeah.
Pirates 2. Everyone remembers Pirates 2 lovingly because as a whole, or they remember it being better than it is because of the whole, not because of how it existed at the time.
yeah,
Because
it's a
Halo 1
bad
and 3
movie
were
by
great.
itself.
Yeah. But Halo 1 and 3 were great, and the second one created the bridge to make that happen. But, a bridge needs 2 anchor points. and without it, it's going to fall. So, yeah, I've played that, and I've been playing the turf game. I've been playing the Harry Potter
Oh,
Hogwarts
God.
game.
I thought you were. I was trying what is he?
And
talking
it is.
Yeah, like a surf.
It
or
is.
like seafood game.
First thing I thought, foam stars.
No. I regret to inform everyone that game is very poorly lip graphic, the lip
It's
dialogue.
poorly lip graphicked.
But it is very fun. It's very fun. It's a good game. I mean, I get to cast spells at people and do stupid things and whatever. It's
Go around
it's
throwing
very pretty.
Crucio at people.
No, I have not done that yet. I don't have those. I'm very early on. I did. The game does a lot of.
What happens if you Leviosa instead of Leviosa?
So here, let's talk about Harry Potter lore a little bit. It's stupid. I don't remember there being 2 levitating spells in Harry Potter.
Well, there's Wingardium Leviosa.
Yes. And then the other one is
Leviosa.
No. Spell Harry Potter. There's...
Maybe one's a light levitation and a heavy levitation.
Yeah, I can't... Let me... Hogwarts Legacy. There's Wingardium Leviosa and Levioso. Just Levioso. But that's a control one. But you can use it to lift stuff. So it's just Wingardium Leviosa. But it's just Leviosa.
Well,
we should have renamed it
Wingardium
Leviosaga.
Was a beginner spell.
Yeah. Well, you learn Levioso before Wingardium Leviosa.
Why would you even
What the
need
heck?
Wingardium Leviosa?
I'm telling you this as someone that just experienced it. I don't know what to tell you.
Maybe that's why they took it out of the curriculum, though, by
Yeah.
the time the movies happened. Because they were like, wow, this is redundant.
Yeah, we're teaching 2 of the same spells.
I also learned about Wagadoo. Would you guys like to know what Wagadoo is?
Sounds like a slur.
It does
A little bit.
kind of sound like a slur. It is the African wizarding school
So it is a slur.
where they don't use wands.
Okay. Did they use
They just
drums?
use their hands.
Oh,
Or they don't use wands to channel their magic.
so that makes them better
That
wizards.
sounds
than
really
those
wackadoo.
It also is the largest wizarding school at the time, which I don't know when this game is set. But I learned about it because this game, I feel like, is taking steps, which is fine, but it is awkward, where it tries to course correct how terrible J.K. Rowling is by being like, look at this transfer student from Wagadoo. She is a good character that's going to be your friend. And ask her about her ethnicity and lineage and why she transferred to Hogwarts. And is it weird to use a wand instead of your
Imperialism.
hand?
Does she
And-
have to use the wand?
No, she doesn't have to, but she likes it better. Which I do feel is gentrification.
Yeah.
I do feel like it is taking away someone's culture from them in a weird way.
Yeah.
Which,
Especially
I was
because-
joking about the
but she does
imperialism,
go
it's-
out
but
of-
holy crap.
It's like harder to do magic without a
But
wand.
she does go out of her way to say, I could not use it, but I like to use it better because it's dramatic. And it's like, I don't know if that... okay,
funny.
like, yeah.
I'm imagining the later Harry Potter movies where they just like shot lasers at each other with their wands. How
Yeah.
much
Doing that
funnier
with
that
their
would be
hands.
with their hands.
Yeah, it's just Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
It gives a whole new meaning to the Voldemort I can touch you now scene. Like, and
He wasn't African, so
yeah, it's just weird. Like it's this game. Every time I had a small conversation with Seth about this, where like I wonder
This
how
used to
much
be.
some of this would, a lot of the iconography and like tropes that she delved into would be as problematic as they are if it was never revealed that she's a terrible person. And
wouldn't
like,
investigate him.
when like it wouldn't have been as investigative because goblins are goblins and orcs are orcs. Like they sort
Goblins,
of have a
ghouls,
like-
a zombie with no conscience.
So I didn't grow up watching or reading Harry Potter. I did not experience my first time with the series until the last movie came out and I saw it in theaters. But even up till that point, I had heard some of my friends talking about it, and they would talk about some things like, hey,
So,
this is
but
a
that-
little weird.
But that also was post movie, where the movies made them like they
Sure,
were,
but some
they
of
were
the-
described that way in the books, kind of. But like the movies really made them.
Yes, but the thing is that like there is an overlap there, though, of like
Yeah.
some of the books were still being written while the movies were coming out.
Yeah.
You know, so they're.
I mean, I'm
they're-
aware.
Yeah.
I've-
Yes, exactly. So just that, like, these are things that maybe weren't as prominent as conversation topics, but to my experience have still been topics.
But that's my point, is it would not have been ever as deeply looked into. It would have just been like people look at D&D and say, well, I wish that it had better representation and maybe would have been a little better. And people just kind of accept D&D for what it is. They're trying to change some of that and make it better, but like for a long time it just was the way it was. And I imagine that Harry Potter probably would have kept going under the radar if she wasn't outspoken and terrible. But yeah, I'm playing it because I wanted something that was single player because my social battery started running out of talking to people while playing video games, and so I wanted something single player to play without feeling bad about playing it single player.
Do you think that when they have a character who is a wizard from the Japanese school, they will reveal they use swords to cast magic?
I wonder...
Or fans.
I wonder what the rules
Umbrellas.
are, or like how you transfer schools.
Yeah.
That wasn't a question I could ask her, which was a shame. But how do you even go about that? Like, it's an entirely different school of magic. Like
It's a different
those
continent.
people, it's a different continent. Those people were not using wands. I imagine that there's probably some sort of difference between using just the world around you to channeling it through an object, which is a thing in D&D, which is kind of like cool and clever. Like, there is wandless magic in D&D, and then there is magic that you channel through a specific item, like Gambit. Like,
Yes, sir.
It's kinetic energy.
Right, and it's connected. But like, now I'm just saying that really, it's a cool system, but it's used in a bad way.
But yeah, you wouldn't think that you would go to a school that...
You wouldn't leave. She even said that it's the largest wizarding school that exists.
So,
Which sounds rad.
I
So
guess
here's
anyone who transfers to a school in a different country is going to have to come to terms with different ways that they educate. So
yeah.
I guess in that sense, it's not all that different. But I do think it'd be like transferring to a school that says we don't use pencils here.
We write only in pen.
No,
Or
we don't use writing
Yeah.
utensils.
It's all absorption. It's all experience. Yeah.
So
That's so many questions about more about wagon.
Also,
so just because it's
do like hand signs like jutsus
Naruto?
from Naruto.
Shut up. That would be awesome.
You just almost made me spit my coke. That'd be pretty rad.
Yeah. But so here's an idea. What if just because Wagadu is the biggest wizarding school at the time, does that necessarily mean that it is the best, like, curriculum wise?
All right. Well, now you're being racist.
Now you're being racist.
Unfortunately. but like,
Is
just because a school
with
population
Africans as good as the school with white people?
The more I'm seeing about Wagadu here on thewizardingworld.com, it makes me very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The more
What are the houses? We know that for some reason all of the wizarding schools have their own houses.
they don't have houses, but would you like to know what they get
Sorry,
instead of
the long houses.
would you like to know what they get instead of letters from the school?
I don't know if I want to know.
yeah, do it.
No,
I'm trying to imagine
it.
the most racist thing. Watermelons.
no,
Jesus
Talking
Christ,
watermelons.
Seth.
no, it is
Good Christ.
visions from a dream messenger that will appear to them in their sleep.
Okay, that's kind of rad.
No, but it's kind of worse than what's like. It's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Wagadu, I learned about this. While I'm playing.
And
this
do they
game.
become witches or do they become witch doctors?
I don't know.
Do they have doctorate programs at the wizarding schools?
Man, you guys
That's
are
a good
asking
question. Are there higher education wizarding schools?
Yeah.
Does a wizard have to go to move
Wizard
to America to go to
college?
Brown after she graduates Hogwarts like Emma Watson did? If she wants a higher
Listen,
education degree.
I'll let y'all know if I get the answers to these over time. Just write them down.
We need to know more about the education system in the wizarding world, J.K. Rowling. We don't need to know that wizards poof away their poop.
Of course, I start to Google, is there higher education? And the first thing that fills in Harry Potter.
Because it's listening.
No, that's not it.
Yeah, it was magic, obviously.
Yeah, yeah, so true.
There is a thing called the Wizarding University with 15 campuses worldwide. So there you go. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Yeah.
It is bad.
Doesn't really inspire me to pursue higher wizarding education.
Yeah. The Wizarding University. Sounds like something like DeVry.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's what I've played. It's games. I'm in a spin cycle until
Rebirth.
I wonder if
Rebirth.
during COVID they had classes at home.
No. When you start to talk about bodily function stuff with J.K. Rowling, like the Wizarding world, it gets weird. Like they didn't even poop for a long time, or they did, but they never.
They just
magicked
it away.
Magicked it away.
Whatever that means.
So,
it either just disappeared and was still there, or
Yeah.
it disintegrated, or
Which
it went
bothers
somewhere.
why they build why did they build bathrooms then at like the school where like Moaning Myrtle is?
I'm going to assume because so here's my idea
Because of
is
all
that
the poop.
it gets whisked away to some other location, whether that be another dimension or another like physical space on Earth. I'm
I
not
hope
sure,
this
but
video
it
game
became
answers this question.
but it became a problem so badly that they were like, we need to just
Yeah.
deal with this
Also,
like
you would think
regular
that
people.
Whoever is magicking away the poo decides where it goes, and a bunch of students would just be like, I'm just going to put this in the professor's room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they come in, there's a bunch of invisible poo in there.
I don't know if it's invisible.
Or visible.
It's probably visible.
Definitely not odorless.
Have you tell us about your experience? Yeah, I feel like you're trying
With
to
poo.
derail from talking about
Well,
your
wait.
Sea of Thieves experience or
Skull and Bones.
Skull and
I've been
Bones.
playing Skull
Yeah,
and
Sea
Bones.
of Thieves, Assassin's Creed 4.
You know, it would be better
Talking
if I
about
was playing
mechanics.
Assassin's Creed 4.
talking about mechanics
Actually, yeah,
that
go back to
will
the mechanics thing.
bring you to playing a game.
Yeah, I was trying
To
to
also-
avoid
to
put me off of the game,
while also taking away mechanics.
because all
that-
those things that you dislike are definitely in Skull and Bones.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well,
Look,
good thing
don't
I
know
was
what
never
say
gonna
about
play it
I
anyways.
find it to be a peaceful experience of playing. Just like getting out on the waves and like no matter where something is, you do have to sail there. And so a lot of that is going to be just the physical act of sailing from one location to another. And I don't know, I find it peaceful to play. I've been trying to think of ways to describe this game, and I think what I landed on is that Skull and Bones, it reminds me of the moments in Destiny when you would land on a planet before like going into an activity where you're just running around in the different zones trying to find stuff to do. And that's just like the whole game.
So aimless?
Yeah, kind of.
Ugh.
But I mean, you know, you're going out to the sea, and there's ships you can shoot, and places you can plunder, and stuff to trade with other people, and sometimes there'll be a big boss ship that you can maybe convince other players to join you. Yeah, it's a confusing experience, just because I don't really know, like, what is the path of the game supposed to be. Like, what is
there an
what
end?
is the goal? I don't know. There is
Yeah.
a story.
Are you playing it?
I have been off and on. The world is kind of separated into 3 areas. One is like
The East Blue, the West Blue.
yeah, north of and the Grand Line.
The Grand
in
Line.
the middle of them. And essentially is that, honestly. You got the starting area, which is called the Red Isle, which I think is supposed to be Madagascar, I think. That's at least where it's situated in the world. And then you have the coast of Africa, which is to the west of it and relatively close. And then across on the east, you cross the Indian Ocean to get to the East Indies. And so the story is taking me to the East Indies where there's another pirate base and I guess a bunch more story missions to do, but I haven't really started doing it. So yeah, I just playing it. It is confusing to like try and picture what the roadmap of the expansion of this game is supposed to be. Obviously, their map is going to get bigger. There's weirdly when you go into the map screen, there is a whole portion of it that is just covered up as if like the map was torn off. And so like. But it's weird.
I kind of like that.
Because you know that there is stuff there because it's the world. And the coast of Africa goes further north. And you can sail up to like the border and see, and there's still like land in the distance. But if you cross the border, it's like turn back or your crew will mutiny. Oh
no.
They don't want to go.
And it's
up
also
there.
weird because in every in-world depiction of a map, there's always like a big piece of cloth draped over that area. So I don't know why. Like obviously the maps are complete, but I guess they're just
So like Northern Africa.
well, it's not even northern. It's
Portugal?
It's hard to determine what the scale of the world is. This is something I remember in Assassin's Creed 4 is that it was really hard to figure out what islands,
We're actually
what islands like were real world locations
Right.
because the scale of everything was so off. But there's just a portion of the map that is inaccessible, so I assume that will eventually become accessible. And there are also like on the map you can find there are these trade routes you can discover, which basically there will always be ships going here, and it will tell you what stuff they are carrying. So if you need to find a resource, you can look on the map, go to one of those trade routes. But some of them, like say they're going off to Europe, and the arrows are pointing off the map. So I don't know. The only thing I can imagine is that they're just going to expand the scope of the world that you can travel, because it doesn't seem like they have any intent on. To me, the natural thing would be, make it so your character can actually explore the land that you can dock on.
That's too much to ask.
Or just go back to the stuff that was in Assassin's Creed 4 where you were a guy who could get off the boat by yourself and fight.
Somehow also too much to ask for.
Mm-hmm. It's really strange.
So when you go and you dock somewhere, does it just become a menu game?
No, there are specific locations. Like there's 2 pirate dens that are that have different vendors and missions you can get, and
so there is a mechanic where you can walk around and move around.
yes, and there are specific hideouts in different areas that are also places you can dock and go out, and it's weird, they all have like individually crafted little areas of land that you can go around but they're mostly just empty except
Is there combat in those?
no.
Okay.
It's very strange because like they took the time to build up this whole place, and there's not really anything there.
like no functional purpose.
Right. There are little notes you can find that are just like background information about the world, and then there'll be like 2 camps that are set up where there are different vendors. And in a lot of them, the vendors are kind of rotating. So depending on when you go, there will be different people offering different stuff. But it's so strange because there are some that I've gone to that are interesting. At one point, it reminded me when I was playing Pal World, because Pal World is a game that is like in alpha. And it's very clear that there's not much of a game there. But there is a big world that you can explore, and you can go to a place and be like, this is interesting. This will clearly someday be some kind of lore significance or event that happens in this area. Like, you can just tell by the way it's designed. And there are places in Skull and Bones where it's like, there's one place called the Great Tree, and you go, and it's this huge tree that has like this really cool inner sanctuary that you can go to, but there's no one
Nothing
to
new.
interact with, to talk about it to, and it's just like, why? What is this here for? It's just. It's really interesting that in like the 10 years that this game like restarted development, the end result was this game that is sort of a pared down version of what was in Assassin's Creed 4, which, to be fair, is what everyone expected it would be when it was announced. It's
Yeah.
like, just take the pirate stuff of Assassin's Creed 4 and make it a multiplayer game. But it's so strange. It's like, there's all this stuff that it's like, I can't tell if something is going to be here or if this was originally planned to be something else and is left over. I don't know. It's
I have a feeling that it will never be there.
peculiar. Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
so either.
They're going to the concurrence and stuff. It's not been great. Like
Yeah, I don't know how long the game, like development in the game will last.
Yeah.
Obviously for Ubisoft, the stuff that matters to them is how much people are paying in microtransactions. So it might not matter the amount of the concurrent player count if people are paying enough money. And it seems like every time I'm loading into the dock of the main area, there's the port will be littered with a bunch of ships that all have the exclusive stuff that you can only get by using real world money. So it seems like people are buying it like the second that stuff comes out, which I guess is good for the continued existence of the game. But the game itself it's a curious thing. I do find it kind of peaceful to play, and I think the ship to ship combat is fun. It's essentially like a third and first person shooter, but you're a boat instead of a guy. Which there's something fun about it, like the constraints that moving your boat around and trying to figure out how to outmaneuver. Like I have found that stuff to be kind of compelling, but also I've found that fighting against other ships that are human controlled is a bit of a pain. Because you also, like, they have healing items and which are all on timers, so like the only way you can win is
healing items
by sort of
as a boat.
Yeah. They're repair kits. So you have to like figure out ways to destroy the enemy ship in the time that it takes for one of the healing items to cool down, essentially. There is also this, once you reach the maximum ranking of Kingpin, so I don't know what, it's like there's a leveling system, but instead of like numbers, they all have titles. And then max one is Kingpin. But strangely, all of the titles have had, as you went through them, they all had like the Roman numeral 1 after them, implying that there were further versions of it. But again, that doesn't exist as far as I can tell. But once you do that, this whole other mechanic of like, there's this drug smuggling ring that you can get involved in that will grant you a separate currency other than the silver that you use to buy stuff. And there's this whole thing of capturing bases on that only become available on certain timers, and when you go around to collect the currency from these bases, other pirates get a chance to steal it from you. And I think that's what the end game, I guess, is supposed to be is
just doing that.
Is doing that stuff. I don't know.
It just sounds like a hassle.
It's like the whole game is kind of a hassle. It's a strange experience. And I don't really know that it's good or not, but it does I find a specific type of enjoyment from doing it. So I don't know. I don't really know what my thoughts are on it. I'm still playing it. And I don't know how long that will last. But yeah, that's a Skull and Bones. There's a free 8-hour trial if you download it.
This, everything you said just
Really makes me want to download.
makes me
that
want to
trial.
play Sea of Thieves instead, which is a more fun.
It probably is.
Sounds like.
But
You should play. We should play Sea of Thieves.
yeah, but I can't control the whole ship in that.
Yeah, but you get to boss people around, which
but
you
I don't
love to do.
want to do that in this
You
game. I
love
just
to
want to
do
be the boat.
But you would play it where you were the boat.
But I couldn't
While
shoot
we
the
do the other
cannons.
stuff. Yeah, we shoot the cannons.
But I want to shoot the cannons and
He
drive
wants
the
to
boat.
be the entire boat.
As the
And I also want to be
captain-
able to jump off the boat and swim over to another boat and assassinate everyone.
You just want to
You can do that
replay
in Sea of
Assassin's
Thieves.
Creed 4.
I do.
You can do
I
that.
want it to be Assassin's Creed 4.
that would get me to play it.
It would. And if it was that, it would
you know
have
what killed it?
interesting characters.
Do you know what killed me playing Sea of Thieves?
What?
Or I keep calling it that because that's just a pirate game to
Yep.
me. The fact that there was no ship-to-ship combat. The moment.
Well,
that-
there's no on-ship combat.
Right.
Yeah,
The
like
moment-
onboarding
But like, there's
combat.
no jumping over because
Yep.
that was the funnest thing.
It was.
And so the moment I saw that was reduced to like a weird cutscene that
Yeah.
clips and then just ends,
Yeah, it's
I'm
strange.
good. No thanks.
I feel like they have to add it.
Mechanics that kill a game.
It seems
Just-
like
A lack of mechanics that kill a game.
if you're gonna add something, that would seem to be it. Even
Yeah.
if you just turned it into like a combat mini game.
Just
What I
anything.
wanted the game, I just wanted Sid Meier's Pirates, the old computer game.
Yes, sir.
And in that, when you boarded an enemy, it was like this little rock paper scissors mini game. And even if they had that, it would be an improvement.
What I wanted was the canceled Pirates of the Caribbean game.
Again,
That I'll
you
never
talked
get.
about it, but I have no memory of it.
I read the entire feature in Game Informer and dream about it all the time.
God bless.
And it was going to be a follow-up basically to Sid Meier's Pirates. That's basically what they were building. Oh, that game. The game it could have been. It never was.
I feel like there was a Treasure Planet game back in the day that had a similar.
Oh, that would be so hard to
Concept,
control.
Yes, it was.
Because it's got up, down,
Left,
down,
right.
left, right.
3 dimensions.
Yeah,
Right.
Space.
Movement.
That would be too hard.
Yeah, I had a
Space
really tough
combat.
time. We had like a demo disc or something for it back when I was a kid, and I played the crap out of it, but I never understood what I was doing.
I was listening to a podcast today that was talking about the Treasure Planet and Atlantis video games.
The GBA Treasure Planet game was the first game that I ever owned personally. That is also the worst game I've ever played,
Yeah.
despite it being the best movie.
Yeah. Not the best. It's a great movie.
It is great.
It is great.
What did you play, Forrest?
Lots of Helldivers 2, of course. I have not played it this last week, though, between server issues and just some personal stuff and not really having much of the time. I decided instead to play a small little game called Dordogne through Xbox Game Pass.
I thought it was Dordogne.
Dordogne?
I don't think there's the nya at the end of it. Because they said it multiple times in the game, and I think it was just Dordogne. It's a river in France.
Just like Denial as a river in Egypt.
Yeah. But you play
Ever
as
heard that one? Ever heard that joke?
no, I can't say I've ever heard of that one. There's no
Sounds
way.
like you're in denial.
No way. But you play as this woman named Mimi, whose grandmother just passed away, who had a house that was right off of the Dordogne River. And as a kid, Mimi would spend some summers there, and the game switches back and forth between the present day, like Mimi as an adult, and then her as a kid, and you live out like this summer that she is having trouble remembering as an adult.
This summer she turned pretty.
No, the summer she got in a horrible accident, apparently. But it's a really nice little. It's almost like a point and click adventure game, sort of. where you're just in these just nice, quaint little areas, and you're just kind of collecting some items, doing some little tasks to progress through your day. But there's a lot of emotion and heart in it. And at the end of like the first day, I think it is in the game, the grandma gives Mimi this binder that she's like, oh, your grandfather and I, when he was still around, like would use this to like, leave notes for each other or write to each other, stuff like that, like a really sweet thing. And she's like, why don't you have it? And during your stay here, you can fill out every single page with like a picture and like poems and stickers and stuff like that. So that's kind of the gameplay loop, is that you are in the present day, you're like, man, like why can't I remember this stuff? And you'll come across an item that like kind of sparks this flashback sequence. But it's a really nice little game.
What's the green eyeball?
The green eyeball?
Yeah, like on the icon, it's like a big eyeball. Maybe I'm thinking of a different game.
I've been really just... You mentioned denial, and it made me think of the Jungle Cruise joke about...
I am thinking of a different game. I don't know what game I'm thinking of. It wasn't this, though.
No. That's why I was so confused. I'm like, what little eyeball thing? But the real, like... The thing I really like about this game, though, aside from, like, the writing, is the aesthetic and art direction of it. It's very, like, watercolory, hand-painted, but each area that you're in is a pre-rendered area that you then move around in as a 3D model.
We love a pre-rendered.
Yes. Like
Final Fantasy VII
yes,
style.
Yes, sir. It is exactly like that. It is beautiful. It like, there's some little jank to the animation, but like these pre-rendered backgrounds and the character models and just the art direction as a whole, it was really charming. And the writing has a lot of really sweet moments that like this is one of those games that like I think I play like once every year, that's like this reminds me why life is really good and why I need to tell the people I care about that I care about them. Like sometimes you just need a piece of media to remind you of the good things, and this is definitely one of those games that does that. So yeah,
the good things.
Yes.
Dordon?
Dordon.
Dordon.
Dordogne, I think.
Dogny?
Dordogne.
Dordogne.
Yeah. Yeah, Dordogne. A beautiful watercolored adventure about lost memories and family.
I'm really trying to figure out what game I was thinking
Sounds like Fast
and the Furious.
Fast 7.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Fast 7, which is about family and Letty's lost
and
memories.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh, wow.
Letty's lost memories that she gets back.
I don't think Hobbs and Shaw is about
It's not about lost memories.
Lost memories, at least.
No, I was saying that Fast and 7 is about Hobbs and Shaw.
It is also about Hobbs and Shaw. Sounds like they just ripped off Fast and Furious 7.
Yeah.
That's
hard to say. I've never seen those.
How many cars and what speed do they go?
There was one car, and
what was the emotion of the driver?
Sad.
So
and frustrated
because of Letty's memories.
But it wasn't fast. That's the real kicker.
Dom can only go fast. So.
And he lives life a quarter mile at a time.
Yeah,
that's we all know.
We all know that is definitively in the character Bible, which is probably just a bullet point list. But yeah. We got 3 things today. If you had asked me what order I thought they were going to be the most interesting, I would have told you a different order than what they ended up being.
Yeah.
So let's talk about them in the order from most interesting to least interesting.
I'm really annoyed that I can't figure out what this game is.
Number 1 is the Borderlands trailer.
That's most interesting.
We've done it. Everyone,
Yeah, we finally
The
get
Borderlands
we finally
trailer
get
has arrived.
another Borderlands movie update.
After how
And
many?
we finally can
A
see
year and a
it's
half
been
of
a long
silence?
time.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of rumors. The last update we talked about on this show was that Craig Mazin asked possibly to take his name off of this movie.
That's right. I forgot about that.
You know what? And he's probably wrong for it. This movie looks freaking great
Well,
in a
it has
bad
a
way.
good trailer.
It has a good trailer.
Which is a rare
That is
thing these days.
leaning
It's
a
a rare
bit too
thing.
much in the Guardians of the Galaxy oeuvre.
That's fine.
You
We'll
know,
see
that's
how
a way to
much-
get me to see this, though, because I'm going to be honest, I don't really care about Borderlands. I was going to maybe see this, but you give
You were
something
going to
that
have to see
I was
it.
going to have to see it, yes, but I wasn't going to necessarily enjoy it. But after this trailer, and hopefully the tone that they presented in the trailer is reflective of the whole movie,
I'm sure it is.
then
Yeah.
Is it reflective of the tone of Borderlands 2?
yeah,
Yeah.
then yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty solid time.
Not the
Man.
tone of Borderlands 3, which is good.
Yeah. It avoids that.
Yeah.
I'm just amazed that this movie trailer, the weapons, like the setting, it all felt very Borderlands.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like
Like,
Borderlands.
everything. Now, it is weird. I wonder if they did test screenings with a
cell
sort of
shading?
yes, because remember they said they were going to do that. They said when you watch this, you're going to it's going to be a live action, but also feel like Borderlands. And I wonder if they did do testing with some sort of overlay. You know what I mean? And then they just decided that it's not working.
Yeah. I
like
feel like
sort
the
of
only
like
way they
the-
could have done it is painted the characters.
Right. Well, no, there was that weird Scanner Darkly movie, which was
Yeah.
live action
Yeah.
with the filter. I like that movie a lot.
Like,
but,
it would be trippy if this.
but
movie
like, I
looked
wonder
that.
if
That
they
would
were
make it
going
awesome.
for something like that, and then they just decided
Yeah.
it wasn't working.
Well, if that was ever an idea, they made the right choice in ditching it. I felt like that would be too distracting.
Right. It would have been crazy.
I feel like there's a way they could still keep it, just doing like the character card bits from the game, and that's where they put in the style of it, and then they pull back out.
And maybe they reference it's not necessarily a reference, but there is one point in the trailer where like there's a weird hologram over their faces. Like it's very
Yeah.
obviously like a disguise or
mask.
something.
Well, in the games, you could use the new you system to
Right.
change the way you looked.
Yeah.
So,
And that's
I bet
probably what they're
That
doing.
will be putting on some weird mask.
But it looked pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's poop jokes, it's pee jokes, but that's kind of your Borderlands.
Yeah.
Not enough of the psycho being crazy in the trailer.
Really, not a whole lot of Krieg.
Hoping that
I mean, he's in it a lot, but he doesn't make any noises.
I'm hoping he's crazy.
Yeah, I still think it's weird that he's in the movie, but
Yeah.
no Bird Boy.
No Bird Boy.
No,
yeah, no
so
Mordecai.
sad.
Brick.
No Brick.
That's
Brick.
unfortunate.
It's hard to have Brick and
Right, it's hard to
this-
have Brick and Krieg because
And-
they
and
fit the
Krieg
same
is-
archetype.
like
But I think Brick is better because he actually has a brain.
right, but it's hard because people just that mask is so synonymous
It's
with
true.
Borderlands.
It's
Yeah.
true.
So,
So
like-
it
The
does make
iconography.
sense to
Right.
include that.
It's weird. I do think that this looks like it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I think Kevin Hart can always sell a joke. Like he's
Yeah, and he's doing the kind of deep, gruff voice,
Yeah.
stoic thing, which he has done successfully as
Yeah.
a funny bit in other movies.
yeah.
And I'm very thankful for that. Like, because I haven't watched many Kevin Hart things, but most of the things that I've seen him in were all pretty much him just playing the same kind
It
of
made me
characters.
think
This is
of
nice.
him trying to be Danny Glover in Jumanji, which was really
Yeah.
Jumanji 2, which was really funny.
Oh yes, there were great moments
Yeah.
in those movies of characters acting as other
yeah,
characters.
yeah, for sure.
Oh yes, especially in the second one.
Yeah. That second one is special.
Yes.
In a lot of weird ways.
I've not seen it yet.
Oh man, it's a great
And The Rock acting like Danny, like
Danny DeVito.
Oh, it's so great.
That's
Yeah.
good.
But yeah, so it looks like it'll be really fun. Kate Blanchett.
I bet this will have a very similar vibe to the Jumanji movies.
Yes, I bet you it will too.
I can dig it.
The guns looked really cool. Like there's even the ones with the spinning barrels at one point in the trailer, and
The old Infinity.
I would like to rewatch this trailer and actually like look at it bit by bit and see if those guns actually look like they are actual props that are able to do that
would be
stuff.
cool.
that would be cool.
That would
yeah.
be, you don't know how much I would pop off over
But
that.
they did say, I think there was a news bit where they said they were building a lot of them. to,
Good.
like, try-
Yeah,
I
was,
love
I
to
was
hear
watching
that.
a little video short on Twitter that had Randy Pitchford pointing out a bunch of like Easter eggs that are in there, and one of them is the pistol he points out, and another he said that the Echo devices, apparently the props department built a bunch of different ones to different actual levels of functionality with like
Awesome.
light up screens and
Nice.
stuff like that. Which I think it will be important in making this movie aesthetically look good.
Right.
Yeah.
Like having, because everything is supposed to look like junk.
Yeah.
And so
Junk punk.
it would be less effective if all that stuff was CGI.
Yeah.
Instead of making it out of junk.
Give me a tangible piece of crap metal thing to work with, and it'll look great.
Now the question is, will there be a video game adaptation of this movie
That's the
called
question.
Borderlands the movie,
the
the video
game.
game?
I can only hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be
It
very
would be
cool
strange.
with
It'd be strange,
But
but good.
I would play it.
that. Do you think that they would get the cast from the movie back though to reprise
Yeah,
the
they would do
roles?
I
this.
think they would.
I'll tell you, the one joke in this that did not land for me at first was the claptrap pooping out the lead, and it did not
gotta
work
get
for
the
me
lead out.
until he made it weird and said, "Yes, please look at me," and then I was like, "Okay, that's weird enough that I'm kind of here for this joke."
So I don't know, but I think Claptrap is the one that I'm not totally sold on.
No,
yet.
I'm not either. But that joke,
Also Tiny Tina, not my favorite character in game.
Yeah.
I like what she's doing in this,
So I don't
at
know.
least so far.
But yeah, I'll say that as I was watching it, I was wishing that they had the original voice actor being Claptrap,
Right.
Especially because there's no one actually on screen. Like they could have picked anyone to voice it, but
Yeah.
of course, given how he left the Borderlands, how he left Gearbox and wasn't in Borderlands 3, I knew that was out of the picture.
Right.
But that one, I'm trying to. It feels like a different style of humor than Claptrap had in the
Right.
first two games. Probably the kind of humor he would have had in the third game, which I didn't like as much.
But him flipping the dudes by the crotch definitely was a claptrap thing.
Yeah. So I know he's going to be a big part of the movie, so a lot will definitely hinge on the way he is written and performed.
I also think he's going to be just like the butt of a bunch of jokes in the movie, though. Like he's going to literally
Yeah.
be a can to get kicked around.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of there for it.
Yeah, the opening shot in the trailer was basically a reprise of the stairs joke that they constantly made, which was always funny when Claptrap would go somewhere and be like, "Stairs? No!" This is one weakness. But it's not, in the trailer, it's not delivered as well. Hopefully they do have the stairs joke, and all of the other random Claptrap stuff.
This did make me want to play Borderlands 2 again.
It did. It made
Which-
me want to play it again,
It's terrible because I will do it. Don't threaten me.
and it'll be enjoyable.
Yeah.
because it's a good game.
That game got me through my wisdom tooth surgery and recovery.
I've played it so many times it's got me through multiple things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only ever been two characters in that game. Zero and Krieg.
You don't need any others.
And you find one that you like and you just keep playing them.
Yeah.
Especially
And
Krieg.
I played as Roland, so. No, not Roland. Was
the Roland 2.
Axton.
Yes.
I can't believe I pulled that out of.
I could not.
Ugh.
Never.
I pulled that out of.
I know Zero and I know Krieg. I could not tell you the names of the other characters.
Was it Lilith?
No, that was
Lilith
one.
Was one. It was a
She
different
was-
Siren.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, Siren is the only thing that I'm remembering. I don't remember
And
her
she
actual
was in
name.
Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
Can't remember who she is.
Hold on, I'm
I
gonna.
remember she was killed unceremoniously.
You hate to say
Oh
it.
God, yeah,
So stupid.
that
Gave her powers to that annoying, horrible child.
Borderlands 2 was. Oh my God, what? Axton the Commando.
Yep.
Maya the Siren.
Maya.
Salvador the
Salvador.
Gunzerker. And Zero the
It's funny,
Assassin.
yeah. Salvador and Axon did not show up in Borderlands 3.
With Gage the Necromancer.
Gage.
And Krieg the Psycho. I played as Gage, and I played as Axton. I tried playing as Maya once, and I did not like it, and I stopped.
She's
there you go.
she's who I played as.
Yeah, that scans. That's you.
I just
think
like the biotics from Mass Effect.
I think
okay?
if we were to see cameos from any other playable characters, I think that my brain just blanked on the name of the characters you just said.
I think you could see them in like a bar or something.
I think the Necromancer girl could show up because I think she's got a good design and a good gimmick. And hope we see Mordecai and Breaking.
Yeah, you could see them, like, or they're on a wanted poster or something.
And
Yeah.
obviously, Handsome Jack will for sure be a cameo.
Moxie was in the trailer.
Yeah,
that was
in there for a
interesting.
split second.
I wonder who's playing Mad Moxie.
It's I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I can't either. But
I think it'll be a fun time at the movies.
Gina Gershon.
Gina Gershon, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good casting. And I'm just excited. It's going to be a good time.
One interesting thing is that all of the characters we've seen visually skew a bit older than their presentations in the games.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Weird choice, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Kate Blanchett sounds kind of old as Lilith.
Yeah, but she looks rad.
She looks
I
so
don't
cool.
care.
But
Yeah. Like, I don't have a problem with it. It's just
yeah.
some of her line reads in that trailer just sound like she sounds so weathered.
Yeah.
But she also like that's sort of the character she's also trying to do at the time too, because she's very much someone that hates the planet. Like that's what they, yeah.
It's clear that she's the driver of the
Yeah,
story.
yeah, she's going to be the main point.
Which I guess makes sense because she was the driver of 2 and 3 to an extent. And
Right.
the characters in 1 didn't really have a whole lot of characterization.
Yeah, little to none.
Yeah.
really. Until the second.
Yeah,
one
it wasn't
gave them
until they came back
characterization.
that
Yeah.
they turned into actual characters.
Which is why Borderlands 2 is genius. It recontextualizes an entire video game, which
great.
is great. And then the second thing that was the most exciting was the Shadow of the Erdtree trailer.
Boy,
Interesting
howdy.
trailer.
It is. It looks very cool.
I was grinning the entire time of this trailer. It just made me think, like, man, what a freaking good game.
Yeah, like I was definitely looking. Oh, this stuff's all cool. I'll never play it. But it did look
No,
cool.
you got to go back.
I'm not going back to that game. First of all, I don't own it anymore. And second of all, there's no way that I can warm myself back up into that game.
I think by June 21st, my birthday, I will find a way to.
But definitely looks cool. There's a Mesmer, looks crazy.
Yeah.
It is the size of Limgrave, they
Yes,
said.
which I think is impressive
That-
because
that is
basically
Pretty nice.
a lot of people play that only spent the game in Limgrave. And you can do that and have like a great experience.
Yeah, it's like a 30 to 40 hour game in
Yeah.
Limgrave. I definitely speed ran the rest of that game compared to the amount of time I spent in Limgrave.
Yeah, I think I bet a lot of people did.
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna play
Some crazy looking monsters.
I said on the show I
yeah.
wasn't going to play it, and I can't. I'm going back. That looks so good.
You don't know how happy that makes me to hear.
It looks so good.
Yes, it does.
The weird man with worm head that eat people.
That just
That was weird.
I got to play this trailer and I literally went, oh,
Like big fireman.
Yeah, big
Big-
fireman.
I
big
love
fireman, not to be confused with the fire giant.
Yeah,
Right.
he was a giant that used fire.
Yeah.
This is a guy who's made of fire.
This
Was-
big fireman.
Lots of cool dudes.
Yeah.
And scary looking dudes.
Yep.
The dude that I thought was Mikola, but is not.
Talking about Mesmer.
Yeah.
Mesmer look cool.
Yeah, he looked cool.
Now
Don't know what his deal is. Mikkel is in the trailer.
I want
Yeah.
to read you guys a quote from
Please.
Miyazaki.
Mesmer got this. He looks like Melania. He's got snakes.
Because my brain, this is like Tetsuya Nomura levels of insane, this quote. And I want to see if any of you can understand it. Let me scroll up. The question for Miyazaki was, can you set the stage for us with Shadow of the Erdtree? Where is it taking place? And can you speak kind of generally regarding what the story is going to be about? He responded, first of all, the setting of Shadow of the Erdtree is a brand new land. It's a brand new map, separate from the lands between.
What?
It is a land that is overshadowed by the particular shadow of the Erdtree, as opposed to the Erdtree in the lands between. So far, pretty much makes sense. Then, and it takes place again on an entirely separate, physically separate map. So it will involve a warp of sorts to get there in terms of setting and themes. Here's where it technically occupies the same space as the lands between.
Oh my
The
God.
same universe. But due to something story related, this has become physically disconnected and you'll travel to the shadow of the Erdtree.
Well, this is all very
which is a
clear to me.
separate
Yeah, that
place.
sounds pretty clear.
There is a line in the trailer where someone says, "Reach out and touch the withered hand to travel to the land." Obviously, they're talking about Mikola's hand, which appears at the beginning, and you're probably going to go into some kind of dreamscape that he occupies.
Yeah.
And of course, he had his own tree, the Halig tree, and that's probably what the tree is that is in the world. But yeah, I would imagine it's some sort of parallel realm that he is occupying.
I don't know if it's gonna be the Halig tree, but maybe on like a conceptual standpoint, it is like what it could have been if it was not a rotted.
If it worked.
Yeah, if it worked.
What is it working? This is where like
Yeah.
it's just vibes. It's just vibes.
Yeah.
It's just,
Oh yeah.
You can know.
These games are all vibes.
yeah. I sent that to my coworker who loves these games, and all he did was reply, "You don't play these games because they make sense." And then
That
he
is
said,
true.
"You play them because they effing rip." And I'm like,
yes, this guy
true,
gets
man.
it.
yeah. So it's
Listen, there's deep lore. It doesn't all make sense though. Don't
true,
worry
it's
about it.
true.
It just sounds cool.
Yeah,
I
I'm-
summoned the Dark Moon.
I'm excited. I'll re-get the game and then delve back and arise ye tarnished, and I might start a new save because I'm terrible. Who knows?
Did you ever New Game Plus?
No, I could do that,
Yeah. So then you still have all your stuff.
but I don't know if I'd be able to get to the DLC because that's in the
Oh yeah, you would have
it's
to work
in
your
the
way
egg
back
where you
to.
fight Mog.
Yeah.
Good old Mo.
Which is how far is that in the game? I can't remember.
Pretty
That's
far in the
like
game.
end game stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if
pretty
I want
far.
to do that again.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know if I fought Moog the first time.
I would offer to help, but you got it on Xbox and I got it on PlayStation.
Is Moog a mandatory?
No.
No, but no, he's optional. But I think if we're gonna, like, if we're running on the
Oh
assumption,
yeah, I did not fight this dude.
No, If we're running on the assumption though that we have to get to Mikola's hand before going into the Shadows of the Erdtree stuff, you're probably gonna have to defeat Moog.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go do it. Can't be that hard.
It's a fun fight.
It is a fun fight. Really difficult though.
That's fine. I'll make it work.
That's probably the fight that I maybe aside from.
He's got some crazy mid-battle attacks that just destroy you.
Yeah, his phase changes are some of the most difficult things that I've ever encountered.
I'll just Kamehameha him with my clone, and it'll be great. It always works. They never see it coming.
So true. There's two versions of Moog, actually. So if you want to do a test run on an easier version, there is one below the Lindell Capital. Down deep in the sewers. That's how you get the frenzied flame ending.
Yeah. I did not. I went down there a little bit, and then I was like, no.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I don't think I explored that stuff at all.
It sucks. It's a good area, but it's just very challenging and difficult, and very confusing layout-wise.
I hope they bring back that girl who ate those eyeballs thinking they were grapes.
Oh, God, that girl. Yeah, there's so many small things in Elden Ring that I would love to, see again.
Yes.
I want to see that rat bastard that I killed, took his armor.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
The character that has a crucial side quest that I never did.
Yeah, the armor of the guy
The
holding
twin-
the
twin-
twin.
Oh,
armor.
yeah,
he killed,
D.
D. He just killed him.
D and his brother
That's not my fault.
Davos or something like that.
He becomes D.
I just thought he was a wandering boss. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
He spawned with a group of skeletons around him, and I'm like, oh, this guy brought friends to a fight. And then I just went to town and wrecked him.
Crazy.
One shot. Well, not one shot, but I didn't have too much trouble with him.
them.
I tore him apart, and I felt good. And I'm like, I got this
cool armor.
Yeah, and I was like, I got this cool armor. And then not until a week later, someone was like, yeah, this D side quest is really good. And I'm
said, huh?
I was like, I don't know what this side quest is. And I looked it up, and yeah, I killed D.
That's the wonder of these games.
Yeah.
That's true.
Between that and the guy where the rest of his side quest was bugged, and I murdered him because I was mad about it. So I never finished that.
Good game.
And then the Nintendo Partner Showcase.
The Nintendo Partner Showcase.
Which I don't mean to be on brand, but the main exciting thing was that I get to play Epic Mickey rebrushed.
Yes, sir.
I got a big problem with that name. Rebrushed is not a word that people use.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fun. Things can be fun and not make sense.
I don't think it's fun. I think it's copying a trend of not wanting to call things remasters, and so making up a word. When that started out, it was fun because people were using words that made sense within the world that we live in and the world of the games.
Recoded.
Yes.
You rebrush paint? You rebrush a wall with paint? And you're painting walls in this? So it makes sense.
Have you ever used that word to describe painting?
Hold on, let me go rebrush this part of the wall.
But also don't paint.
Because you don't say repencil, you know?
You revengeance.
You redraw.
You revengeance, yes, sir.
You revengeance, though.
Yeah, but that wasn't a remake. That was a revengeance.
That was a restarted
I just got a real problem
cycle.
with that name. They could have just called it something else. They could have just called it Epic Mickey.
The SEO. You gotta have a subtitle.
It's so stupid.
It
Interesting
looks great.
thing. So we got the reveal of Grounded, which was, we had speculated privately that, there was the news about the 4 games that Microsoft was releasing, and we knew 3 of them. Well, we speculated the 4th one would be Grounded. So that got a prominent spot. In one of the showcase, the rapid fire segments, we saw Pentiment. And then later in the day, it was announced, Bethesda announced that Hi-Fi Rush was coming
To PlayStation.
to PlayStation 5.
Did you see why that was announced, though?
No.
It's very funny. It's because a South American official Bethesda account uploaded a trailer early during the direct time.
But I'm just saying that, that's probably the reason they announced it. But it's coming out like next month,
Right.
And it's not coming out for Switch.
Exactly.
Which is weird because
But I think I saw some speculation that it's probably they are slotting it for Switch 2 because the game needs to run in 60 frames per second for it to work.
That's what I was about to say.
So that was just
that game does have a lot happening under the hood too.
Yeah, and it's a rhythm. It probably wouldn't be all that playable on the current version of Switch.
No.
So I just thought that was an interesting quirk of all of the Microsoft stuff that was going on.
There's also another interesting quirk that you didn't bring up. It's the omission of a very specific rare game out of all the rare games that they brought to the...
Yeah, that was a strange... there's a big...
2 omissions.
Well, look, there's a lot of rare games from the 64 era that are still not on the Nintendo Switch Online, and they revealed today that Blast Core is coming, which is fun. Blast Core is like a cult favorite. It's a game that I never really enjoyed.
It's really good.
Along with some Game Boy games, NES games, or Super Nintendo games.
Battletoads or whatever. And
yeah, a lot of good choices, of course. But what can we say? No Banjo-Tooie, no Donkey Kong 64, no Perfect Dark,
no Diddy Kong Racing.
no Diddy Kong Racing. It really weird. I don't know who these decision makers are. I think it would be especially easy to bring games that have Nintendo characters as the main characters.
Now is this because there's a bigger remaster in the works for Banjo, maybe? Because there has been rumors that there is another band.
Yeah, that
either
it's
another
finally
Banjo or
in the works. I don't know, but Banjo-Kazooie's already on there. I don't think that a new Banjo game would be Banjo-Tooie. So I don't think that would be
Is
getting in the
Banjo
way.
on there already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I just wanted to put Donkey Kong 64 there.
I'm shocked that it's not.
Yeah. The only reason it's probably not is because people don't think it's a good game. But they put such random games on these collections.
Yeah.
That it's like, what?
There's no rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah, what is the decision-making process with this? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Though ever since they rolled it out, it's like, why? All of these games already existed on older consoles. Why can we not just put them on here? Why do you have to roll them out slowly over time?
Because every console, they start back from square one with
It's bizarre.
their older games catalog instead of just making a... I've done this field a million times before.
So, was there anything else I super missed from this? Because I'll tell you what happened. Is they uploaded it. I noticed the video had timestamps.
You just looked at
And I looked and I was like, oh, Big Mickey. I'll click on that one. And then I clicked on...
Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection.
So my experience was similar in that I opened up YouTube, I went to my subscriptions tab, so I could scroll down to where the thing would be. And of course, above it, as I was going to it, I passed a bunch of thumbnails for all the individual videos that they uploaded of the separate reveals. And so I saw everything and then played the direct, which is, it's funny. Gundam Breaker 4 popped out for me, of course. I'm all up on that Gundam, especially one where you can collect parts and build buddies. I thought that looked neat. Unicorn Overlord, of course we love that. Pepper Grinder, we gotta love that.
The game looks really fun.
Yeah, it's got a demo out. I haven't played it. Also, Unicorn Overlord has a demo. 2 games.
Someone at Nintendo has a lot of stock and faith in Endless Ocean.
Yeah, that was crazy. This was the big Endo Endo reveal.
But wait, there's one more thing.
Yeah. But they've done this like the last few partner showcases where they tease a big reveal at the end and then it's something that you never heard of. And it's like, what is
Or
this?
that if you have heard of, it's like you've only heard of the title, you've never heard anyone you know actually talk about these things. You've never seen gameplay from it, like, ever.
I guess it was a Wii game.
Yeah, so there was a I had to look it up because the way the name is like Endless Ocean Luminance or something like
Luminous.
that.
Luminous.
And I was like, and I looked at it, and the way it's put out, the way the title is presented, it made me think, wait, was Endless Ocean a franchise that already existed? And lo and behold, it was a game that came out on Wii. And I think there was a sequel. I don't know. No one is sure whether this is a remake or a sequel. But of course, when you're porting a game from the Wii to a modern console, like, does it really even matter all that much?
Right.
It's an underwater, I guess, sort of chill diving game, but I guess the big thing is that you can explore with 30 people underwater.
The Japanese title for Endless Ocean is Forever Blue.
Good
That's
title.
better.
That's much better.
Where's the Forever Blue
Power
on
Rangers special.
on the Grand Line?
Oh.
Is it like on the east? Or there's the Deep Blue, which is where that guy wants to fish, the chefman.
Here's the thing about the One Piece world. You got all these 4 oceans. Is the world flat? I think it is.
Yeah, because you got...
Because there seems to be only one way to get to the One Piece, which is at the end of the Grand Line. If the world was a sphere, you could go the other way.
The One Piece is inevitably the friends they made along the way. But
Which is real.
And the treasure that Gold Roger left.
he left a note that said, "You got friends now."
Yeah.
Smiley
Just-
face. And it's got a smiley,
Smiley
face.
face.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe even a wink.
Man, I really hope that live action show just covers the whole thing, because
That'd be
I
crazy.
really don't
Yeah.
want to watch the anime. But yeah,
What else was in this direct? I don't.
I'm interested in the Demon Slayer Mario Party game. I
Yeah, I
guess.
saw that.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, Mario
I
Party.
also
So we will be getting
I think it's
this.
only because we've all played Mario Party together multiple times.
Yeah.
But I saw it. I was like, I want that. I think it's probably a dumb thing to want, but I wanted to have that and play that with the
More
with the boys,
franchises
yeah.
should have dumb Mario
Dumb
Party
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
That's
not?
why we love Fusion Frenzy. We all love Fusion
I don't
Frenzy.
think I ever played Fusion Frenzy.
Yeah,
No, that's on the list now. I'm going to make sure to download that.
is that one Xbox game?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
it's
it.
Yeah.
literally one of the best games ever made. I don't know what Zach and Samson, and I cannot remember the other two names. Beat and
I never played it. I've always wanted to play that.
Zach attacking the back. He says
What was
that.
that weird Monopoly game? Not Monopoly. The
Frenzy.
I can't think of the name. It was on Wii. It was like this long-running Japanese Mario Party style game, but with like hardcore finance in it. That always looked. I really wanted.
We
to
love
Sounds like a
finance.
Yakuza mini game. Or sorry, like a dragon mini game. There was a game in this showcase, a Ranger, a role puzzling adventure
Yeah,
that looks
that looked
really
interesting.
unique. I think I may give that game a shot. But basically, like every move, so it's like a top-down perspective. It's a puzzle-solving game, but every move you make is basically like shuffling like puzzle pieces along.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it. Like each tile is a puzzle piece that gets moved around, almost like a Rubik's cube kind of. That gets moved with each move that you make.
Yeah. The whole unit moves rather than just you moving space to space.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed neat.
Yeah. That's,
It was definitely a Nintendo Direct partner showcase.
Yeah. Oh, also there was another Crab's Treasure.
That
which
looked
is just
it's
a
the
character
Souls-like-
action game, or slash Souls like with just a crab.
How could I forget? Pocket Card Jockey is coming to Switch, and I love it, and I will get it. and everyone else should because it's a wonderful game.
Yeah, I guess.
He doesn't even know.
I don't.
I put so many hours in that back on the 3DS, and then again when it came out on iOS.
And now again.
And now I'll
And
do
now
it on
again.
Switch.
You'll have
Because
to
it's
see it.
good.
There was a new Contra just
Yeah.
randomly shown
Galuga.
off during this. I always feel weird every time there's a new Contra put out because it's like I feel like this should be a bigger deal than it is, but also it's also clearly like a remnant of a much more distant past for the industry.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think I ever cared about
they keep
Contra.
wanting. Every once in a while, someone will try to make a new one, but it's like there's never really anything that they're adding to it. To try because I understand that Contra was like the game back.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. And Gunstar Heroes, unfortunately, is the perfection of that formula.
You and Quack won't let me forget that Contra exists. What?
I'm sorry.
Contra's fun.
Yeah, it's like it's a fine
it's hard.
series.
Very hard. But yeah, there's been some other kind of. But yeah, Operation Galuga. This is a weird name. It makes me think of Galaga, and I'm like, are they adding Galaga into the game? But it's Galuga.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. But instead, it's Galuga.
It's you just play regular Galaga.
Is this one problematically funded by the Saudi government like the other one?
I don't know.
That's a
But Penny's Big
curious
Breakaway.
question.
There was a trailer, and it also released today, and it looks great.
That looks good. Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. I liked how the trailer's like from the people who brought you Sonic Mania. And I thought it's crazy that they can just name drop the game and have
Also
it has
because
no-
like for some reason Sega is not really wanting to rehire those people to make more Sonic
also
games
David
for them.
more Monsties coming to Switch.
Yes. The
You gotta
first
love it. The
Monsties.
first Monstie game.
Monster Hunter Stories.
Yes.
Operation Galaga is not
Galuga.
even. It's not even a new game.
What?
It's a remake of the first game.
What?
Wait, so the first game was Operation Galuga.
I mean, this is
Contra Operation Galuga is a thorough reimagining of the classic run-and-gun NES arcade game from the 1980s.
wow.
So they're not even adding Galaga to it.
Shame.
The Switch console exclusive new Super Monkey Ball game looked legit kind of the multiplayer in that looked fun.
I
For what?
really
the
like
Super
it.
Monkey Ball game that they showed.
I've never owned a Super Monkey Ball game, but I played a lot of Super Monkey Ball because my friends always, like, just random friends of mine throughout the years have had copies. I think I may buy this game.
Yeah, they like the trailer was like they showed the regular Monkey Ball stuff, but it
Which
was
is always,
mostly
kind of a
devoted
good
to
time.
all of these new multiplayer modes, which looked like hectic fun.
Yeah, like the like it's like that Mario Kart style of multiplayer modes. That just like I don't know. I think that's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, and of course Battlefront Collection, which is a day one buy.
Yes.
64-player multiplayer online. A
Yes,
perfect
sir.
video game with servers again.
Yeah.
Here we go.
You love to see it.
Can't wait. The perfect.
Now, when I reference Battlefront 2, people will go back to knowing what it means.
Genuinely the epitome of perfection of squad-based ship-to-ship combat with vehicles. Like,
Love those games. You can shoot people in the space, and then you can land on the ship and shoot people with the guns and blow the ship up from the inside.
It's a simple formula, and yet rarely emulated.
and yet in a quadruple A video game in 2024, you can't even jump on someone else's pirate ship
It's true.
to fight someone. But in this game from 20 years ago,
Quite literally.
you could
Yeah,
fly
and
into the hangar bay.
The Pyre game started development 20 years ago. And
You
they
could-
never learned.
you could land with an X-wing into a droid capital ship's hangar bay.
And get in one
and
of
get
their
in,
ships.
Get in one of their ships.
That was always the best thing. to
or literally go take out their weapon systems from
Yeah.
like
do. Love it.
it is stupid the amount of stuff that they were able to do with this game. And
They
now
made it look so easy too.
oh yeah, it was effortless
Ugh.
looking. It's wild. It's partly
They
why
made you actually want to use the Y-wing.
Yeah.
I mean, well, shut up. The Y-wing is great.
The Y-wing is so slow.
It's like my second favorite ship. Number one A-wing forever.
A-wing, you shoot it once and it blows up. But it's fast.
Yeah, that's why you're good. You get good and you
don't get hit.
Okay.
yeah. It's
Sure.
it's there. It's there for a
Learn
good
to
time, not a
dodge,
long
loser.
time. Where do you Yeah. The A-wing's the best. I almost cry every time I see the life-size A-wing at Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
It's just I look at it and I'm like, look at
beautiful.
you. I could sit in you. Like I could go do it if I
could
wanted
fly
to
off
be
right now.
banned from Disney right now.
Yeah.
Like if I wanted to be trespassed, I could get to you.
The Heroes versus Villains mode, I played that a lot back in the day, but I love the Mos Eisley map, so I don't remember if this is true or not, but could you not play that on other maps in the original release?
I don't
think
remember.
so.
Because they made a point about it in this trailer, like, oh, you can play this mode
Yeah,
on
I'm pretty sure
different maps, and I'm like,
It was
huh?
only that one map.
That's so crazy. I mean, Mos Eisley is my favorite map in that game, so like I never had a problem playing that mode only on there, but I guess I just never realized that that was the only map I could play it on.
My favorite was the Endor ones.
Yeah,
I like
Kashyyyk.
Yeah, Kashyyyk
I like
is
Kashyyyk.
cool.
All the maps in those games are good.
Yeah.
They're all good.
But that game is part of the reason why I loved playing Pandemic Clone Wars so much, because the board for that game is just the Battlefront planet map.
Nice.
Man, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great time. It'll be good.
That's next month, March 14th?
Is it next month? I hope so. I gotta beat Rebirth before it comes out.
Yeah, because that's the only Battlefront 2 is
I
going to
feel
be
like
the only game that I'm
they
going to play
operate
the
in
rest of
different
the year.
niches.
Yeah.
It should be mentioned that the Japanese showcase had Mother 3
Yeah.
Yeah.
coming to Nintendo Switch Online.
Nintendo does not care about your wants or needs with Mother 3.
Nope.
It's
never
so
will.
weird. Like I understand that they think that they can't localize it because the references won't make sense.
Yeah.
But they just could and,
Like-
and have it not make sense to people who aren't native Japanese.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter. Or get a localization team
There
that is
is-
giving carte blanche to rewrite
Well,
some of
the-
those things to things that we could actually get.
Yeah, but they won't
Like,
do that.
I-
And they won't take up the creators of the fan translation who have offered to let them use it because I guess it sets a bad precedent. I don't know.
Yep.
That's too bad.
But they bought the people that did Metroid 2. AM2R?
AM2R, yeah.
Didn't they buy those people?
No,
No. I thought
they just
did.
shut it down.
They
Those
just
people went. Well, it was one guy, and I think he worked on Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Yeah, that game is their next game is coming out. It's a Diablo Souls-like. It looks weird.
Diablos.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, we appreciate you listening. Send in your emails.
Send in your poetry.
Send in your poetry. Join our Discord, and we will talk. It's not going to be next week. We will talk at you soon because I don't know if I'm going to play anything new between now and next week. And we got to play Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah, I won't be here next
Reboot.
week.
So, all right. Goodbye.
See ya.